Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you please type where you're from? Hello, Sean. Hello, Jawi. Zen. Wow, from Singapore. Hello, Jin Yang from Malaysia. Daryl from Singapore. Hello. Thank you for being early for this webinar. So we shall start at 8 p.m. So you have just joined us. Do let me know where you're from so that I know that you can hear me. So hope you had your dinner. So it's good to see you all on this Friday evening. Hello, Gary from Singapore. Yes. Yeah, I'm from Malaysia. All right. So maybe you can share what do you have for dinner. So I just had my usual rice. Oh, hello, Eric. Yeah, I had my usual rice and some vegetables. So perhaps you have more interesting food for dinner tonight. More interesting than mine. Oh, ginger and onion rice. That's nice. Light dinner, no rice for Eric. Yeah, it's healthy sometimes that, not to take so much rice. Yeah, I don't take a lot of rice at night. Usually, just a bit of rice and more of the dishes. Oh, okay, take away from opposite your house. Yes, not too much rice. All right, if you have just joined us, do let me know where you're from. Jordan is doing well. Thank you for asking, Sean. All right, so if you have had your dinner, or do share also with us what you had for dinner. Yes, Jordan is doing well. Thank you. Yes, I'm also excited to start the session for tonight. Right, so we have 5 more minutes before 8 p.m. So really happy to conduct this webinar. So actually, this is my second webinar this month. So it's really excited to share again about programming and how to use programming to create a game. Oh, Daryl had fruits, very healthy for dinner. Yeah, this is the latest lockdown. Yeah, for I think for Singapore and as well, I think for Malaysia, it's actually our third MCO, and this time round is yeah pretty bad. Even today, we have like 8,000 over cases. Yeah, 8,000 over cases in Malaysia. So that is really quite a shocking figure for all of us here. And I'm in Selangor. So Selangor itself, the number seems to be going down. Right. Today about 2,000 cases, but it's still the situation is still very bad. Yeah, very bad. Okay, Angie had hard-boiled eggs and cocoa drink. Oh, hi, Lishan. Oh, Lishan, where are you at the moment? Where are you based at the moment? Oh, yes, 8,000 over cases here. Oh, Lishan. Oh, okay, you're in Mutiara Damansara. All right. Welcome to this webinar. Okay, yes, yeah, all of us are actually working from home at the moment. All right, we still have people coming in. Okay, so we have yeah 3 more minutes before we start. Thank you for coming in early. Yeah, so that we can actually yeah chit chat, while waiting for the session to start. So I have, I think, yeah, Lishan is good to see you again. So now here in Malaysia, all the shops actually close at 8 p.m. Yeah, so then we all just have to yeah just basically stay at home during this period of time. Oh, hi Max. Yeah, good evening. Good to have some familiar people in this webinar tonight. Some I think that I haven't actually seen for quite some time. Oh yes, that's when the class starts. Yes, 8 p.m. where all the shops are closed now. So hope you had a good day. Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, it's a Friday evening, right? So because of the lockdown, yeah, I think most of us are just at home. And then usually I have my games night, yeah, on Friday. But today, because tonight, yeah, I just want to spend this time to really teach Python programming, and yeah, then from there you can learn how to create a game. Hi Angie, good evening. Hi Kenvi, good evening. Good to see you. All right, so we have 1 more minute before we officially start our webinar. So make sure I keep to the time, yeah, which is 1.5 hours. All right, so I know that some of you probably have a long day today, yeah, working from home, and it's not easy. Yeah, some of us maybe have to deal with our own children who are homeschooling. Yeah, so I'll keep the time. So 1.5 hours for our webinar. You don't need to download any app or software. Okay, so you're just going to use your browser, right, to actually type and run the program. Oh, hello, Carlos. Carlos is from Colombia. Wow, good to have you with us, Carlos. All right, so thank you once again for joining me this evening. Yeah, thank you for be on time. Yes, and really we want to have this fruitful session, right? To learn. Oh, hi, Minjun. Can you all hear me? All right. Okay, that's good. Oh, good evening, Eva. Hello. Oh yes, I think we are here all very excited to learn. So hello everyone again. I'm Christine. All right. So thank you so much for joining me this Friday evening to learn programming. Okay, let's start with an icebreaker. Oh, hi Faith. Okay, so let me share my screen so I can start my slide. All right, can you all see my screen? Can you all see the PowerPoint slides? Oh, hi Vanessa. Hello, welcome. All right, so this evening, the topic of this webinar is how to learn Python programming by creating a game. Okay, let's start with this icebreaker. So from the scale of 0 to 10, how familiar are you with programming? So really, if you have zero knowledge, you type 0. Okay, so if you think that, yeah, you may be an expert and you just want to, chill out here, okay, because you have nowhere to go, then you may type 10 if you're an expert. Okay, so all right, so I see the scores coming in 0, right? 1, well, 7 out of 10, 1, 0.5, 0. Okay, so all right. Okay, 5, 9. Wow, okay, that's good. Okay, 3, at 0. So I see that most of the scores are actually below 5. All right, so there are quite a number of scores with zeros and 1. All right, thank you so much for your response. So I'm really really excited and happy that you are here because at the end of this webinar you will learn Python programming and use it to create a game. All right, so are you excited to learn? Okay, so we are excited. You type X for excited. All right, type X. We are excited to learn this evening. Okay, this is about me. Wow, all right, so I see the X coming in. Thank you. Right, so we are all here very excited. Okay, this is about me. I've been teaching programming for the past 26 years in a university college. So my programming journey started in 1990 when I enrolled into a Bachelor of Computer Science degree program. So I remember the excitement that I felt, each time I managed to solve a programming problem. So it feels kind of like magical. Yeah, that, as if that I have this superpower to create. So in fact, we are all creators, right? We are all created to create. So with programming, we can create things like software. We can create websites, all right, and many applications. All right. So if you agree that we are all creators, type C for creator. So my passion is in teaching programming so that through this life skill, people can create a better world. So this evening, our goal is to create a game using Python computer programming language and discover that programming is fun. All right. And to learn the secret of this STEPS system that helped me to learn programming fast. And so you will also find out about this 2-day SkillsFuture SG approved course that I'm offering. So let's start with the basic, okay? Because I know that quite a number of you do not have any knowledge in programming, okay? So what is a computer program, right? What is a computer code? So computer program or code, right, is actually a language, right? A language that the computer can understand. So right now, I'm speaking to you in English, okay? So I hope that all of you understand me, all right? So it's not something that is foreign to you, okay? So I hope you don't need a translator for this, all right? So basically, a computer program, right, is a set of instructions, right? Step-by-step instructions that tells the computer what to do. So it's like a language, okay? So a program has a syntax or rules that you need to follow. For example, English, okay? So we need to know the grammar. So we need to know what is like past tense, present tense. We need to know about noun, verbs, and so on. So similarly, when we learn a computer programming language, we also need to know the syntax, the rules of that language. Okay, so let's say you want the computer to print something. So you will write a code, right, to display a message on the screen. Okay, so that is what a program is. Okay, it's a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. So this evening, I want to introduce you to a programming language called Python. So the name of the creator is Guido van Rossum. He's actually a Dutch programmer, all right? So he started working on Python program, right, in 1989. So, and it's now among the most popular languages in use. So the first version was released in 1991, which is 30 years ago. So you may be wondering why the name Python. It's not named after the snake, okay? So it's actually named after a TV series that apparently is a favorite of Rossum, okay? It's the Monty Python's Flying Circus, right? So it's named after that film series. So Python is simple to use and yet it's very powerful, okay? So you can use it to create web applications, do cool things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, which are related to robotics, okay? Python can be used to analyze data such as sales or transactions to see which product performs better, okay? This is actually part of data science, right? In data visualization, Python offers highly customized graph and charts. So by using this graph or charts, you can easily identify certain patterns or certain trend. So in Python, we can also use it to process images, okay, to do face recognition. And of course, Python is used to develop games and even operating system like the Windows OS or the Apple iOS. All right, so why are we learning Python? So Python is chosen because it is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. So many big names use Python for their products or services. Okay, some of these are NASA, Google, Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and even Facebook. So that's why Python developers are in demand. So this evening, what I want to demonstrate to you is game development. Okay, let me ask you a question. How many of you play computer games? So if you play at least one game, type game on the chat box. Okay. Okay. So let me type. Yes. Oops. Sorry about that. All right. So I can see that all of you play games, right? Yes, I do play game as well. So last year, as soon as people were ordered to stay home, to be quarantined because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so people spend their additional time playing games. All right. So you see, as the chart shows, the gaming industry sees big growth while people stay at home. And it's actually a billion-dollar industry. All right. So imagine if you can tap into 1% of this 1 billion, it's actually 10 million, right? So it's a huge industry. Okay, when I think of game, right, it's not just something that we play for fun. So games are also used in education to teach and motivate students. You have probably heard of the term gamification, right? So where we apply games, right, in education, in our teaching and learning. Another important application of game is in the medical industry to provide treatment. So who knows, some kids could have a doctor's note prescribing half an hour of video games every day. This is serious, okay? The US Food and Drug Administration, right, actually approved a video game as a medical treatment to improve attention function in children with ADHD. All right, so this was actually reported in June 2020. All right, so I really, I can't imagine having a prescription from the doctor for my son. Okay, so we're going to learn programming by creating this turtle race game. Okay, so I want to show you how it works. So in this game, I can actually control the pink turtle, right? Using the right arrow key so that the pink turtle will move to the right of the screen. So let's play this. Okay, so 6 turtles will move to the starting position, all right, to begin the race. All right, so the race has started. Okay, the pink, I think, is going to win, hopefully. All right, come on. Okay, so yes, the pink turtle, which was controlled by me, has won the game. So this is the turtle race game that we are going to create this evening. All right, so you can actually use other images. Yeah, even rabbit, yes, you can. All right, so here we are just using turtles, okay? All right, so before I demonstrate how to create a game, so I really want to add value into this webinar, right? So I want to teach you all some basic Python programming concepts, right? So that you can apply this in creating the game. So let's have a quick tour of Python. So we're going to cover 6 Python programming concepts this evening. Okay, starting with data types, all right, string, list, control structures, functions, and modules. I know that this term sounds really alien to most of you. Okay, so I'll do my best to explain each of these concepts and then see how these concepts can be applied in our game. So the first concept is data type, right, and variables. So a data type refers to a type of data that is stored in our program. Okay, so something that a data that our program can handle, and we store this data into something called variable. All right. So here we have we call it a variable because the value can change. Okay, it's not fixed. All right. So these are the common data types in Python. Integers, which is actually whole numbers. So here we have some examples. The number 7, the number 33, or even the year is actually an integer. And float, right, refers to numbers with decimal points. Like, for example, the value of temperature. Okay, so if you have this temperature, then it's better to get yourself tested whether it's COVID or not. All right, and then we have the value of pi, which is also a floating point number, 3.142. And another data type in Python is called Boolean. So this may be a new term for most of you. So a Boolean, right, has a true or false value. Okay, it's like a switch, right, on or off. So we're going to see how we apply integers and Boolean in our game later on. Okay, the next concept is container. So imagine a container, right? It's something that you can store many things inside. Like a cup is a container, a drawer, or a cupboard, for example. So in Python, right? So we're going to see these two main containers. One is called string. So you can see that the string, right? We have double quotes, which actually represents a list of characters or a list of letters. So hello world here is an example of a string. Okay. Another type of container is a list. So you can see the syntax for a list in Python. So a list, right, is basically a sequence of data. Okay, so it's a collection of data. So we can have numbers inside, we can have alphabets, and we can have strings. Okay, so red, green, blue are actually strings in Python, and we can put them into a container, in this case, a list. Okay, so the square brackets, the comma, the quotes are actually part of the syntax or the rule of the Python language. So we will be using lists, okay, in our program. All right, another important concept in Python, right, or actually in any programming language is control structure. Right here, what you see, right, is a selection. Okay, that means you can get your program to make decision, right? So remember, you can tell your program to do something, right? One of the things is to make decision. So we will look at the syntax or the rule. So we're saying that if a condition is true, then we perform A. For example, if it's raining outside, then take an umbrella, right? So that is the take umbrella is the action. Okay, else you do not need an umbrella. Okay, so if this condition is true, then we perform this action. Otherwise, we perform a different action. So we can represent this logic, right, in a diagram called a flowchart, right? So let's say this is the start of the program. We use a diamond shape to represent selection. If it's true, we perform A. If it's false, we perform the action B. So the actions, right, or the process is represented by a rectangle, okay? And then end the program, right? So this is what you call a selection construct using if else. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so this one is a loop or iteration, right? So that means we can get our program to repeat instructions, right? So your program can actually make decision using selection, but it can also repeat certain instructions. So in Python, we have two types of loops. We have a for loop and we have a while loop. So again, let's look at the syntax or the rule for it. So these are keywords. For, in, the colon are actually the keywords in Python. So for loop, right, is what we call fixed iteration. So for example, I have 5 turtles, right, in my list, okay? Then I can actually use a for loop to draw each turtle on the screen, okay? Because I know that there's 5, so that's fixed number there, okay? So when we use a while loop, right, we actually use a condition, okay? So again, this is the syntax or the rule. So while is a keyword, the brackets are actually optional, okay? And then you need a colon at the end. So we are telling Python that while this condition is true, then you do this. For example, while it's still raining outside, okay, stay at home. So while the COVID situation is still bad outside, so we stay at home. We work from home, okay? So that's the difference between a for loop and a while loop. So for loop has a fixed iteration. A while loop is based on the condition. Okay, so now that you have seen the control structures, we move on to functions. All right, so again, I'm going to show you the syntax, the rule, and we use a keyword called def, followed by the name of the function, and we also need to use the brackets and the colon. All right, so and then inside the function, right, we can have the statements that we want. That means what we want Python to do. So let's look at this example. So I've used the def function here, this keyword, and the name of my function, right, is my welcome function with the brackets and a colon. So it's a simple function to print a welcome message on the screen, okay? And after defining the function, we need to call the function, okay? So if you don't call the function, it won't do anything, all right? It's just that, let's say I don't start up my PowerPoint, then it will just be there, okay? So it won't start up. So to get the function to do something, we call it. So we call it using the name of the function, which is my welcome function, followed by the brackets. All right. So here we have seen the syntax of defining a function and how we actually use it. So again, we will be using one function, all right, inside our program. Okay. So just now I mentioned there are actually 6 concepts. This is the last one, all right, where we use modules or libraries in Python. Okay, what are modules or libraries? All right, you can think of this, right, as actually built-in functions in Python that allow you to do more cool things, right? Really cool stuff. In this case, for our program, right, we are going to use 2 modules. One is known as the turtle graphics. The other one is known as a random module. In fact, these 2 modules, right, are commonly used in games. Okay, because in games, yeah, we need to use graphics. We need to normally have a random behavior. That suddenly, you know, this item appears from a random position, or you may be moving to a random position as well. Okay, so I know that, yeah, the name of the programming language is Python, and now we have a turtle graphics module, right? So again, it's also interesting how this turtle comes about, right? It's based on a robotic turtle, okay, that performs drawing. So when we write our program later on, you can imagine a turtle with a paintbrush on top of it, moving around on your screen to draw the images. Okay, so so the name turtle is actually from this really, it's a toy. Actually, it's a very toy that, not to say antique, okay, but yeah, it's a toy that actually draws. Okay, it's a robotic drawing turtle. All right, so we've covered the 6 concepts in Python programming. Okay, let's try to find out how much you can remember. All right, so I've talked about 3 data types, right? So can you name at least one data type that you can remember? Or you can name all of them. Let's see. Okay. And then for strings, right? So string is basically a list of characters. Okay, you can give me an example of a string if you can remember. And then list is like a container. So basically strings and lists are containers, all right? But in string, you only store one string. But if I have a list, I can store multiple lists or multiple strings, okay? Like multiple colors in our case. Right, yes. Okay, so I can see some responses are coming in. Wow, okay, so most of you can remember, all right? So red is a string, like hello world is a string. Okay, and I've also talked about control structures. Right, so can you recall what are the 2 control structures that I've covered earlier on? All right. And then if it's a function, what is the keyword that we use to define a function? So you can type it on the chat box as well. Okay, and modules, right? We have learned about syntax. Okay. Follow, while, yes, really good. And I've also talked about 2 different types of modules. So if you can remember those 2 modules, again, you can type it out on the chat box, right? So that will help you to recall these programming concepts that we have looked at earlier on. And next thing is that we want to see how we apply these programming concepts in our game. Okay. So in this game, it is actually important, right, to understand the turtle graphics coordinate system. Okay. All right. So yeah, I should tell you to take a deep breath, right, before we actually move on. Okay. So yeah, you may not actually understand or remember everything. Okay. So I mean, we have covered all these 6 concepts here, but yeah, you may not actually remember all of it or understand all of it. Okay. But I want you to have an open mindset to learn this evening. Okay, really have an open mindset. Think about this. We do not know exactly like how a TV works or how our mobile phone works. Okay, but we know how to use it to watch Netflix. All right, we know how to use it to watch our favorite Korean drama series, for example. So I believe that most of you agree with this, right? So if you agree, to have this open mindset to learn tonight, yeah, type A on the chat box. Okay. So let's learn how we can apply these concepts. Right. So yeah, just now I was talking about this coordinate system. So in this game, it is important for us to understand the turtle coordinates system. So remember that we need to create a game screen. All right. The size of our game screen, right, is actually 500 pixels. Okay, pixel, right, is actually a measurement that we use in our computer. I mean, we don't use centimeter or kilometer, but we use the term pixel. It's like a dot. Okay, the smallest unit for measurement, right, in our computer screen. So the width of our screen is 500. Okay, so that's why the values, right, you can see the horizontal value for x is negative 250 to 250. Okay, and in the middle, right, is what we call a home position, where the x value is 0 and y is equal to 0. Okay, so the y-axis, right, is actually the horizontal axis, and the value is negative 200 at the bottom, and then the positive values are on top. Okay, so the values goes from negative 200 to positive 200. All right, it's important to know this coordinate system because we need to know how to position our turtle later on. Okay. All right, so let's take another deep breath. All right, so I'm going to take you through 6 steps to create this game. Okay, so it's getting more and more excited, I hope, all right, for all of you here. So we have seen 6 programming concepts, right, in Python that we're going to apply. So in these steps, right, these 6 steps to create the game, first of all, we're going to set up the game screen. Okay, so we want to move the turtles to the starting position. We want to control the turtle, which is the player's turtle, the pink color one. We're going to start and end the race, check for the winning turtle, and finally display the winner. Okay, so I'm going to take you through step by step to create this game. So this is the game screen, remember? So the width is actually 500, right? And the height is 400. So this is the size of our game screen. Okay, so it will be difficult for you to actually type the code and listen to me at the same time. Okay, so don't worry. At the end of this webinar, right, I will share the code with you so that you can actually download the code and then try out on Trinket later on. Okay, so I just want you to relax and then just listen to my explanation and the demonstration here. So you don't need to download any software. All right. So this tool, right, is actually free to use. Okay. So all you need is a browser. Yeah, you definitely need internet connection for this. Okay. And you go to trinket.io/pygame. Okay. So this is the interface of that pygame, right? On this side, where I have this main.py, is actually where we're going to type our program. Okay. And then on the other side, the right side, okay, where you see this word copy here. So this is where you will see the output from the program. Okay, that means the game screen will appear on the right side. So after typing the program, right, we will need to click this run button, okay, so that it will execute your program, run your program. Then you can see your output there. Okay, so this is the environment that we're going to use to actually type the program. Okay, let's look at the first step, the code for the first step. Yeah. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 5 lines here. Okay, don't worry about spacing. You can have multiple spacing, empty spaces in your program. Okay, so the reason why I put spacing is so that it's easier to read the program. All right. Okay, so let's look at the first line. As I mentioned, we need to get the module, right? The module turtle in our program to do graphical user interface. And this is how you actually get the module. We use a keyword called from which module, which is the turtle module. And what do we want? We want the functions for turtle. We want the functions for screen. Okay, and we have a Boolean variable in line 3. All right. So in this line here, we actually set this Boolean variable to true. And later on, we're going to see how we use this Boolean variable in the program. Okay. To set up the screen, right, we just need 2 lines. Okay. So get the screen, we call this a screen object from the screen function here. And we tell Python to set up our screen size. Okay. So we tell Python that the width is 500 and the height is 400. Okay, so all this is part of the syntax of that Python programming language. Okay, and we need this line as well, screen.exit on click, okay, which is also found inside this screen function. So what we are telling Python is that if let's say the game has ended, I will click on this screen to actually exit from my program. Okay, so that's what it means. Click on exit. So just click the game screen and end your program. So when I run the program, so actually I've already run the program. This is just a screenshot of it. So that's why you see this game screen. The X is actually my cursor, the position of my mouse. All right. So remember the height is 400. The width is 500. Okay. So we have actually completed the first step, which is to set up our game screen. So the next step is move the turtles to the starting position. All right, so we have 6 turtles, remember, all right, in our game. Okay, so this is the output that we want. So we want all the 6 turtles to go to the starting position. All right, and notice that we have 6 colors. Okay, we have red, orange, green, yellow, blue, and pink. Okay, so blue and pink are actually my favorite color. All right, so because we have a list of colors and we have a list of turtle. All right, so we can actually remember we talked about list, right, as a container. So then it should bring our memory to list in Python, where we can create a list of colors and we can create a list of turtles. Right, so let's see that in our code. So I've added line 6 and line 7 here. Okay, so line 6, we actually define a color list. So the name of the list, right, is called colors. And what I store inside here, right, the name of the colors. Remember that list is like a container. Okay, so in this case, I'm storing colors: red, orange, green, yellow, and blue. So later on, we'll see the pink being used later. So, and we also created an empty turtle list. So this is the name of the list and it's empty at the moment, right? Because we are going to use this, right, this list to actually store our colored turtles with their position as well. Okay. So the color list has no pink, right? Because we will be using pink as the player's turtle. So what we want to do next, right, is to actually draw the turtles, right, and then move the turtles to the starting position. Okay, so this is what we want. So it is again important to understand the turtle graphics coordinate system. So I've already worked out the positions of the turtles. Okay, so it will start at x equals to negative 230, right, which is near the edge. And these are the y coordinates of the turtle. So we start at y equals to 100. So that means this red turtle, right, is at position x equals to negative 230 and y equals to 100. Okay, the next one is y equals to 60, 20, negative 20, negative 60, and negative 100. Okay, notice that we actually minus 40 each time. So like 100 minus 40 is 60. Okay, I hope you don't need a calculator for this, right? Okay, 60 minus 40 is 20, and so on. So notice that there is a pattern here, right? There is a repetition. Okay, so we have 5 turtles, all right? And then each time, right, we minus 40 to the y coordinate. Okay, so that means we can actually use a for loop to do it. Okay, to draw each of these turtle with a different position. So what we're going to see next is the code for the for loop to draw each turtle. Right, so let's look at the code. Okay, the code, right, is actually added from line 9 to line 16. Okay, don't worry, I'll explain this. All right, so you see the step starts from 100. So this is the y coordinate, right, for the first turtle, which is the red turtle. Okay, so remember the y starts from 100 and it goes on to 60 and so on. So now inside the for loop, okay, so you see all these statements here from line 11 to line 16 is actually inside the for loop. That means all these statements will be repeated, okay, and it's actually repeated 5 times, all right? And we see that the step, right, see we actually minus 40 each time, okay? So the step value, which is the y coordinate, will change each time. So looking at this for loop, right, so as I mentioned, for, in, and the colon is actually part of the syntax, okay? And in this for loop, we have what you call an index I here, right? And because of this range function, this value of I starts from 0 to 4, okay? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that is 5 times, all right? And for each time, what do? We actually draw the turtle, okay? We get the color of the turtle. The first one is red, okay? Then the second one will be orange, and so on. And then we go to the position to draw that turtle, right? So remember the x coordinate is the same for all the turtle, right? But the y coordinate is different, okay? It's at a different horizontal position, all right? Go to the position, and then we need to actually add this turtle to our list. Remember at line 7, we created an empty list for our turtle. So we add each of these turtle to the list. Okay, so imagine if we don't have a for loop, you will be repeating this. You have to type this program here 5 times. So how many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 5 is actually 30 lines of code. So imagine that. Okay, so that means you don't have a for loop, then you'll be typing 30 lines of code. So with that for loop, we can in a way simplify our code here. Okay, whatever code that we want to repeat, we put it inside the loop. All right. Okay, so that is our for loop. And now let's see what happens. Okay, you may be wondering, all right, where did I get all these functions? Okay, you have shape, you have colors, you have pen up, go to, a pen. It's like, wow, it's like so many things that you need to remember or, you know, memorize. But you don't do that, okay? So we don't memorize these functions, okay? So you may be wondering, where and how on earth do I get all these functions? Okay, the answer is this turtle graphics documentation. So you see, if you go to Google and you search for Python turtle graphics documentation, right, you will find this this document here, right? And in this document, you will find a list of turtle and also screen functions or methods. okay, you will find functions to actually move and draw, all right, functions to actually show the state of your turtle. So you have things like forward to move your turtle, okay, to a current position, all right. You can also use this to draw a circle as well. And if you scroll further down, okay, you will see how we can actually use those functions. Okay, so you have these examples here, all right, how we use a forward function. Okay, so these are actually the example. So programming is not about memorizing, it's about Googling. Seriously, is it about Google? All right, no, I'm just kidding here. Okay, so it's programming is not about just using Google or Googling, all right, but you do need you do need to be resourceful in this. Okay, so from time to time I do need to refer to the documents, right, to find out what functions to use and also how to use it. Okay, so the keyword is be resourceful. So if you agree, then you can type the word resourceful on the chat box. Okay, be resourceful. All right, so when you run the program at this stage, right, you will see the turtles, okay, all 5 of them except the pink turtle. Okay, so they're all ready to start. Right, so now let's look at how we get the pink turtle on our screen. Okay, go back to our coordinate. So the pink turtle, right, is actually at position x equals to negative 230 and y equals to negative 100, right? So that is the position of our pink turtle. Let's look at the code. So the code, right, is added from line 18 to line 21. So there's no for loop, okay, because there's only one pink turtle that we want to display. So we use the same function. We get the shape of our turtle here, which is a turtle shape. You can even have a square shape, okay? And the color is pink, okay? And then go to the position that we have already set, okay? That means x equals to negative 230 and y equals to negative 100. So when you run the program, you will see all the 6 turtles, okay, on the left side of the screen, and they are actually ready to start the race, okay? So I hope you are ready too. So we have completed the 2 steps here. All right. So we have set up the game screen. We have moved the turtles to a starting position. So the next step is to control the turtle. So how do we actually control our player's turtle, the pink little turtle? All right, so if you go back to the Python turtle graphics documentation, you will find the functions listen, okay, and also on key. So we need to tell Python to actually listen for keyboard events, okay? That means, let's say I type the arrow key, right? So I need to tell Python to start listening for this key. And we need to tell Python what to do with this key. That's why we need this on key function that takes in, we call this an argument, all right? So you need to know what to do, which is the function, okay? And what is the key to look up for, all right? So in this section, right, it shows us how we actually use that, we use the on key and also listen. So remember we talked about defining a function, right? So we will be using this keyword def to define a function, okay? So we won't be using this name, but we'll be using a different name, okay? And we'll be using the on key function and also the listen function. Right, so let's go back to our code. So before we do that, right, before we add the code for the controlling part, okay, we need to import random, right? So we have import turtle. So remember that the other module or the library that we need is the random module, because our turtle, right, is actually moving at the random speed, okay? So that's why we need to have this random module in our program. So remember that random module is a built-in function in Python, okay? So that allows us to have random behavior. All right, so we have added in line 2. So now from line 25, all right, to line 31 is where we have the code to actually control our pink turtle. Okay, so remember we need a function. So using the keyword def, the name of the function is go forward. So what do we have here? We actually get a function called randin, which is from the random module. Remember we import random. Okay, so what we want, right, is to generate a random integer number from 0 to 10. Okay, so the reason why we have pen up is that we do not want to draw any lines on the screen. Okay, so pen up here, the reason is that we want to make sure that we just want to go to the position without drawing, right? Without drawing any lines, all right? So that's why pen up is actually required in this case. We are not using the turtle to draw images, right? There's no line or shapes here, right? We just want to move the turtle, okay? So remember that, I mentioned that imagine a turtle with a paintbrush, but we don't want this paintbrush to be on the screen. So we want it to be up, okay? So that's why we use pen up. So now in this rand function, okay, so we actually generate a random integer number from 0 to 10, okay? And we store this number into a variable called rand distance. So rand distance is an integer variable. And we use this rand distance, right, in a forward function, okay? So this forward function, right, is actually inside the Python turtle graphics documentation, right, the module, all right? So, so it will randomly move. Either it doesn't move or you move 10 pixels, okay? And remember that we also need to add in the listen and onKey function. So we need to tell Python to listen for keyboard events. That means when I type a key on the screen, right, Python should know what to do with it by looking at the onKey function. So the onKey, right, will tell it to go forward, right? So it will, remember that we have to call the function to do something, right? So we call the function go forward, and this string here is actually representing the right arrow key. So that means each time I press the right arrow key, my turtle, right, this pink turtle, will move to a random position. Okay, so when I run the program, right, so I'm not able to actually control my pink turtle. Okay, but of course I haven't started the race yet, so that's why the other turtles, right, are not moving at this time. Okay, so we have not moved them yet, yeah, all right, because we haven't written the code, the program to actually move the turtles yet, except to control the pink turtle. So we have actually completed the first 3 steps, all right? So the next step, right, is to actually start, okay, and then also we need to know how to end the race, okay? So we are ready to start the race. So our turtles, right, will be moving towards the right side of the screen. And again, we are going to use the random function to randomly move each turtle, okay? So the speed of each turtle, right, will be different. So our turtles, right, will be moving towards the right side, okay? So I have actually started the race, right, with this while loop. Remember earlier on, right, we set is race on to true, okay? So here we're telling Python while the race is on, right, is true, okay? Then for each turtle in my list, remember the turtle list, right, actually have 5 turtles stored inside, okay? So I'm telling Python that for each turtle, right, go to a random position. So that's why the randin function here generates a number, an integer number between 0 to 10, okay? And then we use again the same forward function to move the turtle, all right? Okay, let's see what happens when we actually run this code here, okay? So we have the while loop to actually start the race. Okay, what happens is that when I run the program, the turtles continue to move without stopping, okay? Because I haven't actually told them to stop yet. I tell them to start, okay? But I didn't tell them when to stop, all right? and they have probably traveled to outer space. Okay, and yes, we need them to come back, right, to the starting position. Okay, so how can we correct the code? So we need to have a condition to actually stop the race. So now the two lines are added, line 35 and line 36. Okay, so you see for each turtle, right, we need to check the x coordinate. Okay, if it's greater than 230, that means it has, like, reaching the edge, right? Then we should actually set this Boolean variable to false. Okay, so it's raised on to false. And we need to check both the turtle in the list and also the player's turtle. So if either one of them, right, reaches the edge, then we should actually stop the race. So the condition of the loop, right, is while it's raised on. Okay, so it's true at the beginning. Remember, we set it to true, and then we set it to false when the race has ended. Okay, so if, let's say, this variable is not set to false, so we have something like what you call an infinite loop, like what I showed you just now. That means the turtle, goes to outer space, or eventually it reaches the moon. Okay, so we need to be careful to avoid what you call runtime errors. All right, so that's why we, programmers, they do debugging. So what they do is, if let's say there are errors or bugs in their program, okay, so they have to fix it, okay, and then try to run it again. All right, so that's what happened just now, right? So if I don't set this to false, then yeah, your program is basically running like in infinity. Okay. So now when I run the program, okay, when the winning turtle reaches the edge, right, the game ends. Okay, so but of course we haven't actually displayed the message yet. All right, so now we can start and end the race, right? So our turtle won't go travel to outer space. So the next step, right, is to check for the winning turtle. So how do we do that? When you see words like check, right, that means, it's like there is a condition there again. Okay, so we will see how we use the selection construct, the if else, to do the checking. So now the code is actually, these 4 lines are added, okay, from line 36 to line 39. All right, the rest of the code, no change. Okay, so we need to find out which turtle actually wins the race. All right, and we also need to get the winning color of that turtle. So the function to use, right, is called pen color. Okay, so first we need to check which turtle won. Is it the turtle in the list, or is it the player's turtle? So that's why we use an if else construct here. So if it is the turtle in the list, we set the winning color to its pen color. Otherwise, if it's the player's turtle, right, we set the winning color to the player's pen color. Okay, so as I mentioned, the pen color is another function in the turtle graphics module. So finally, we need to print the message. Okay, so now we have already get the winning color. So we have finally reached the final step, which is to display the winner. All right. Okay, so the code, right, you can see there's repetition. So usually I will do copy paste. Okay, so the code here is actually from line 45 to line 54. So what we do is we print the message after the game has ended. That means after the while loop. So the while loop, right, is actually from line 33 until line 43. Okay, so that means the race has ended. So now I want to print the winner. So first we need to print who won or lost. Okay, yeah, that's what we want to do. So we have to compare the winning color, right, with the player's color. So remember, the player's turtle is pink. So if the winning color is pink, then we display the message you have won. Otherwise, okay, if the turtle in the list has won, so that means I've lost the game, and the winning turtle is announced. All right. So if you look at the code inside here, what we need to do is I actually hide the turtle because since I'm just drawing the messages, I don't need to draw my turtle anymore. Okay, so I go to a position to actually write the message. In this case, is the home position. X equals to 0, Y equals to 0. The color is black. And then what we do is we use the write function, okay, to to actually print the message, right? So with a font style, the font style is Arial, the size is 24 and it's bold, okay. So for the for the turtle in the list, we also do the same thing, okay. So but it's a different position, right? It's the same color, but of course with a different message on the screen, okay. So all these 4 lines, you can see that it's indented. So again, actually indentation is also an important rule in Python. So with indentation, also your code actually is easier to read, so that you know where the statement is. Okay, is it belong to that for loop or while loop? Okay, or is it part of that if, or is it part of the else construct? So now if I run it, right, so these are the sample output. Okay, in this output, the player lost, all right. Yes, because the green turtle has won, right? The pink turtle is here. Okay, in this second output here, right, the pink turtle won. Okay, so it has yeah, it's ahead of the rest. So you can actually run this program multiple times, all right, to actually test it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually switch to Trinket to show you the program. So I'm going to go to Trinket. Okay, so as I mentioned, you don't need to download any software, but just go to trinket.io/pygame. So I'll just go full screen. You can actually increase the size here. All right, so you can see your code clear. I mean, much clearer here. And now I'm going to run the program. So it takes a while to get the game screen to start. And then, oh yes, okay, the race has started. All right, my pink is not moving. Pink turtle is not moving. Oops, okay. So it's lost to the blue turtle. Okay, so somehow I just had difficulty controlling my pink turtle. So this is how you run the program. All right, as I mentioned, I'll give you the link to actually download. You can just, what you do is you just copy and paste onto Trinket and then test it out. Okay, so I can click this screen, click the screen to end it. Okay, or I can just click the stop button there. Okay, so this is our turtle race game. So let me go back to the PowerPoint slides. All right, so we have completed all 6 steps. Okay, so I hope that you are still with me. All right, we have displayed the winner. Okay, in our game. So again, just to recap, so we have actually applied these 6 Python programming concepts in our game. Okay, so we have worked with numbers. Okay, maybe you can give me an example. What are the numbers that we have worked with? For example, I mentioned about y coordinate, right? What other variables have we used in our program, right? So you can type it in the chat box. Yes, you can actually use images. So right now, I'm just using the turtle shape, right? That comes with the Python graphics documentation. You can actually use images in your program and then control it. Okay, so your image, yeah, in this case, it's a little, it's something really small. Okay, so that, of course, you can change your game screen, right? The size of the game screen. Okay, then again, try to recall what are examples of strings that I've used in my program. Okay, and then can you remember the name of the list that I've used? all right? Because the obvious one is colors, okay? And then we have used control structures, all right? The selection and loops. And you may also type what is the syntax before that. Okay, and then we have also defined a function, right, in our program, okay, one function. And if you can recall the name of the function, you can type it out also. And then finally, the name of the two modules that we have used in our program. Okay, so I do see some questions coming in here. Okay, so yeah, someone mentioned that I've used this letter F, right? So it stands for formatting in Python. Okay, and I'm using it, right, to actually print the name of the color on the screen. Okay, so if you want to find out more, so that's where I'll teach you about input and output. Okay, in the Python programming, as part of the Python programming beginners class. Okay, so F here basically stands for formatting. All right, and it's actually something new inside the Python 3 version. Okay, so Python has actually evolved from Python 1 to now it's 3.9. Perhaps Python 4 will come out maybe next year. Okay, so then there'll be actually more built-in functions that will be added on to Python. Okay, so the approach that I adopt, right, when I teach and learn, right, is this STEPS system. So it's actually important, to know the syntax or the rules of the programming language, okay? And you need to know the theory, the semantics, the meaning of this syntax, so that you know how to actually use it in your program, okay? So you can't truly learn programming by just watching videos, okay? So it's like, that's why it's important to exercise, right? So that you can practice, okay? So you can't truly learn programming, right? Or rather, you can't lose weight by just watching people exercise, isn't it? Okay, you need to really do the exercises, okay? Then you can start to see results, right? Whether you're trying to lose weight or lose your weight or just keep healthy. So similarly, you can't learn programming by just watching people write the code. Okay, you need to practice. You need to work on projects, right? Or even share with others what you have learned. Okay, so like just now, I get you to actually share what you remember, what you recall. Okay, and then type it out onto the chat box so that you can actually remember some of these programming concepts. Okay, so so when you have these steps here, I believe that eventually you will actually master that skill, all right, that programming skill. And this can be applied, it's not just for Python programming, but for any programming language that you wish to learn. So if you want to learn more, you can also check out my online courses. So currently I have 2 online courses. So the first one, right, is actually on the fundamentals of Python programming. They are all together 10 lessons in this course here. So things like input and output, how you actually print and then print messages on the screen, how you actually read from the keyboard, okay? And more data types as well, right? We have seen like how you do like subtraction, okay? So of course you can actually create something, a simple calculator, right? With Python, with the different mathematical operators, okay? And you learn more about decision making. So what you have seen earlier on is just like if and else, okay? But you can have multiple selection, okay? Multiple conditions in your program, okay? So then, of course, then that means your program can make more decisions and then take different actions from there, okay? And in lesson 5 is where I cover the random module and also list as well, okay? So what are of course, there are more functions to learn. How you randomly generate a number with decimal point, for example, okay? And the different types of list operation. Okay, you can actually delete or remove an item from the list. Okay, how you actually add to the list. So there are more functions that can be learned from there. And loops. So this evening I've covered the for loop and also the while loop, right? Then of course there are more examples of how we actually use them. Okay, how we set different conditions also in our control structure. Okay, dictionary here is another type of container. Okay, so as I mentioned that list is a container. String also can be considered a container, whereas dictionary is another type of container. And yes, definitely you need to know more about functions. Okay, and more functions from the Python turtle graphics, right? And then in the last lesson, so you will actually create another game. So in fact, this particular course, right, there will be 3 games that you will be developing. Okay, the first one is actually a text-based adventure game. All right, what you see here, right, is known as an ASCII art, ASCII. Okay, so it's actually text-based. So you can see these are just asterisk, a full stop, comma, right, brackets, okay, equal sign, and so on. Right. So there is a website. If you search for ASCII art, ART, then you can actually use their art, but of course you should acknowledge the original creator. So you can add this ASCII art in your program to make it more interesting. Okay, even though it's just a text-based adventure game. So in this game, right, your mission is actually to find someone called Steve who is lost inside a forest. All right. So you'll be guided by the program. Okay, and so as you can see that it's the program will actually make decision, okay, based on what you enter. All right, so here the first statement is you're at a junction. Where do you want to go? So if I entered left, then we come to a river. So what do I do next? And then finally, at the entrance of 3 caves, what do I do? So if I select the actions correctly, then I'll actually find Steve in the forest. All right. So your game can be it's actually up to you, right? Remember that we are all creators. Okay. So programming allows you to also unleash your creativity. Okay. You can think of a really cool storyline for your adventure game, right? And then you actually write the code for the various decisions. Okay. And yeah, after that, try to get your friends to actually try the code and then get them to test it out. Okay. And then give you ideas on how you can actually improve on your game. So, I always share this also. It's like, it's kind of like more fun that, you actually play the game that you create. All right. So you're not just playing other people's game, but you're playing your own game. Okay, so in one of the projects, you will also create a rock, paper, scissors game. So I hope that we all played this before, okay? You are actually playing this game with the computer. So the random module is used here for the computer to generate whether a rock, paper, or scissors. But in this case, I'm using a number, okay? 0 to represent rock, 1 to represent paper, and 2 to represent scissors. Okay, so based on your choice, right, then the program will check whether you have won, you have lost, or is it a draw or not. Okay, so this is just a very simple game to illustrate random numbers, to illustrate lists also. Okay, so for different projects, right, you will actually see the different concepts being used. Okay, so eventually when we cover the last game, which is the Animal Crossing game, right, you will in fact apply all the concepts that is covered. Okay, and then notice that here I'm actually using a different image. I'm actually using an image here. This is a GIF file, right? It's not the normal turtle that you have seen earlier on. So in this game, right, you learn about collision, how you detect collision. So you have this poor little turtle trying to cross this multi-level highway with all these cars that are coming from the right side of the turtle. Okay, so these are actually this colored rectangles that are representing the cars. Okay, then when it gets hit, then that's game over. So you also learn how to keep score in this game here. Okay, and the score is represented by so it's actually printed here, right? And you will also learn about using images, okay, in your program. You can actually add in a background also, right? So let's say change the background color to black, right, instead of a white background, okay. And as it goes to a higher level, right, the speed of the car actually increases. So that means the level of difficulty of the game actually increase, okay. So those are the 3 games that are actually covered in the online course. And if let's say you wish to learn more, right, from the basic level to go to an intermediate level, so this is another course that I have, okay, where you will create the snake game. Okay, this is actually a very popular game during the time when we have Nokia handphones. So this snake game is actually built in those form in the Nokia handphone. So there are altogether 7 lessons here. You will also cover a different programming paradigm, which is the object-oriented programming paradigm. You will also learn how to work with files. So let's say I can maintain a high score for my game. Okay, so you need to learn how to actually read from the file and how you actually write to the file. Okay. All right, I'm really thankful for the testimonials that I received from my students. Okay, and then some of this, right? Some of them they actually have no programming knowledge. That means they start from zero programming knowledge, so they find it interesting. Okay, so engaging, enjoyable, and I'm thankful that they actually learn from my course here. Right? So see, it's basically it's I always promote that because Python is really easy to use, okay, easy to teach, so everyone can basically code with Python. So I've been teaching programming for the past 26 years, and really Python is one of the easiest programming language to teach and to learn as well. Even though it's simple, right, but it's really versatile and powerful. Okay, so nowadays a lot of data scientists actually use Python for data analysis, right? I hope that I can actually create another online course for that, right, for data analytics. Okay, just because it's easy to learn, it's versatile. That's why there's a big demand there. Okay, and one thing that Python is also strong in is in machine learning. Okay, so that's why it's really popular nowadays. So machine learning is like one of the application is face recognition. Okay. All right. So as you can see from this chart, right? So Python is one of the top programming languages in the world. So these are actually the job postings for the last 12 months. This one is actually only a few days old. All right. This chart is this resources here. Okay. And then as you can see, okay, even though it's like much lower than the rest, right? But if you look at the projected growth for the 2 years, Python is at 24%, which is really high, okay, as compared to the rest. Whereas some of it, right, is actually is declining in terms of the growth, right? And JavaScript, yeah, it's really popular now, right, for to do interface for web development, okay, and the projected growth is actually much lower than Python. And if you look at the salary range, right? So Python is not far off from Java, okay? But if you look at the projected growth for the next 10 years, it's actually high as compared to the top 5 languages in the world, right? So it's at 21%. Okay, so this is why I mean from this charts here, this graph, right? You can see that that Python is really it's in demand, okay, and it's really a popular programming language. So I have course bundle, right? Where I offer these two courses in a bundle. Okay, the Python coding step is for the beginner, and whereas the object-oriented programming is more for the intermediate level. Okay, so in this course, you also develop the games, right? As I mentioned, the 3 games, right? And then a snake game in the second course. Okay, but I have really good news, okay, for especially for Singaporean age 25 and above. Okay, so I'm really delighted to share this. Okay, so in using, if let's say you are a Singaporean age 25 and above, right, you can actually utilize your SkillsFuture credits, okay, to attend this 2-day SkillsFuture SG approved course on how to create apps using Python with zero programming programming knowledge, right? So it's a 2-day online course, and the total duration is 12 hours. I will share the link to this at the end of the webinar. So the course objectives, right, are posted on the SkillsFuture SG portal. So there are actually more details on the course outline. So what would you get from this SkillsFuture SG approved course? So it's a 2 days training, right? 12 hours. That means 6 hours a day. Okay, and you will get all my presentation slides, right? And you will also get the exercises and also the solution. Okay, you will also get unlimited, or I will say it's a lifetime access to my online videos. Okay, so you can actually review it anytime, right? If some of you, you have kids, right? So eventually your children can also use these videos to learn. Okay, so it's a lifetime access, and there will be a Facebook group set up, right, for the class, and of course there will be email support as well, right, in your learning. So it's actually, there are limited seats for this. Okay, so the next date, right, for this training is on 12 and 13 June. So it's actually a Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and the time is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right. Okay, so there's more than that. If let's say you register by Monday, 30th May 2021, all right, so you will actually get a compilation of all the Python code in the lessons, okay, in all the 10 lessons. Okay, so what you need to do is to register and submit the SkillsFuture claim, screenshots it, all right. Later I'll share the link with you, right, by Monday, 30th May. So for all Singaporeans aged 25 years and above, right, so you actually get a 500 opening credit, okay, and you can claim it for really a wide range of SkillsFuture credit eligible courses, and it does not expire. All right, so you can actually top up as well. Okay, so there's a one-time 500 credit top up, right, for those, of course, 25 years or above. And yeah, use it to claim for a full range of SkillsFuture credit eligible course. And but this top up actually expires on 31st December 2025. All right. Okay, so you can register for the SkillsFuture credit, right, using this link here. Okay, bit.ly SkillsFuture create app Python, or you can screen your okay, Monday is 31st, right? Let me check. So it should be, let me check the date, right? So if you have your phone with you, right? If you're not using your phone, then you can actually scan this QR code, right? Or get the link. Okay, let me stop my sharing so that I can share the links with you all. Okay, so let me open up the links. All right, so I'm going to share the link to download the code. So this is the link to the course. Okay, let me share another link. And then the link to register for the Skills Future. Okay, this is the link to actually download the Turtle Race code. All right, so you have it's on a Google Drive. Okay, so you can download the Turtle Race code from this link here. And to type your program, this is the link, trinket.io/pygame, right? So you can use this to type and then run your code. And these are my contact details. So you can email to me for more information. Okay, let me put that down. Yeah, so that's my email. So you can connect with me through my Facebook page as well as LinkedIn. Trivalog is not my company, okay, but they are actually assisting in the registration for the Skills Future SG. Yes, the Python is that means in the Trinket, right? You have the interpreter for Python, so you can actually type your Python code there and then run it. There's an error. Which error is that? Are you Sean? Which error are you referring to? Oh yes, I have Faith with me here. So she is from Trivalog Skills and Consultancy. Okay, so if you have questions on that about the Skills Future credit, right? So you can also ask her. Okay, so no problem already. All right, thanks, Sean. Right, are there any more questions? You're welcome, Sean. All right. Faith, maybe you can, sorry, can confirm on the date. It's a cost as additional subsidy from Singapore government. So you can actually sign up using the Skills Future credit. The class is actually online. All right, it's an online class. Okay, Yongshin, able to repeat this turtle game? All right, so there is a replay for this video, right, which you can actually access after the webinar. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So you can actually run it many times. All right. Yeah. Run the Python code, the turtle race many times. Yes, the cost fee is 500 Sing. So it's actually 100% Skills Future credit claimable. Okay. So if you have 500 credit, then you can use it to claim for the cost. Okay, we haven't actually set other dates yet, right? So the next one is in June, but perhaps you can also let us know, right? What are the dates that you are actually considering? All right. Are they okay? So glad that you all learned something today. Okay, so you can also basically type what is your key takeaway, all right, from this session this evening. So thank you, right, once again for your participation, all right. So it's good to see the responses, all right. Yeah, yeah, and also the the acknowledgement as well from you all. Okay. Yes, you can actually download the game. So in Trinket, there's a download button at the on top, so you can actually download it. Or sometimes you can just like when you download, it's actually a zip file. Okay, it's a zip file. All right, thank you, Yongxing. Yes, it's not really it's not impossible to learn. All right, it's possible. And then you just have to do it like step by step to go through it. Okay, so yeah, you may not remember or understand everything. Okay, at least you can actually try out the code, and then for Trinket, you don't have to log in. All right, you don't have to log in or sign up for Trinket. You're welcome, Lishan. Thank you, Gary. I'm not sure about art shopping center here. So it will be actually conducted via the Zoom. Okay, so for those who register for the class, right? So a Zoom link will actually be shared for it. Okay, thank you, ST. You're welcome. Right. Okay, let me share another link. You're welcome, Eva. Okay, so I'm sharing this coupon code with all of you this May 2021. So if you click on this link, right, you'll be able to access the discount, right, for the online course. Okay, so this one is actually mainly for those like non-Singaporeans, and then you're not actually because not eligible to claim, all right? So you can also still learn from the online courses that I have. Okay, so I actually set the a coupon code for it. So instead of 90, you're not paying 95.90, but you're only paying like 79.90. Okay, so that is the discount, right, for this webinar. So if you're interested, you can also click on that link with the coupon code May 2021. All right, thanks, Angie. Glad that you can join us. All right, thank you, Daryl. Yes, yeah, you can learn from home. Yes. So the dates currently, yeah, it's 12 and 13 June, right, Saturday and Sunday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So of course there'll be like there'll be a lunch break 1 hour, and also there'll be 2 other breaks in between. Okay, the morning break, afternoon break. So you will definitely see the full schedule, right, after you've registered. So as I mentioned, yeah, if you register early, then you will get all the code, the Python code, a compilation of the Python code for all the lessons, right? And then that registration also comes with the with the free access, or lifetime access, okay, for the online videos, all right, with the presentation slides, Facebook group as the support, okay, the email support as well. Then definitely you have access to the exercises and also the solution, okay, because it's important to actually practice so that you can really master the skill. The date, Faith, can I just check with you, is it by 30th or 31st May? Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, thank you, Angie and Daryl. Okay, so that is the date, the link, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry, so it should be 31st May, right, which is a Monday, all right? Okay, thanks, Faith. I'm glad that you all learned something this evening. Okay, so that you haven't. Thank you for that, open mindset to learn, right, and to accept something new. Okay, so I'm just glad that I can share my knowledge, right, to all of you here. So yeah, continue to have that, the attitude of testing and learning. So when we write the program, we always test it out by changing the code, right, and then run it, okay, to see how it actually works, okay. Oh yes, EK. So you cannot use the credits for the 79.90. Okay, so that one is actually it's a separate cost. So the 79.90 is basically purely they're all recorded videos, right? There's no what you call like a face. There's no online training through Zoom for that 79.90. It's purely recorded videos, right? Of course, it covers all the 10 lessons that I mentioned just now for the beginners, and the 7 lessons for the intermediate level, right? You're welcome, Si Hui. Yeah, good to have you here. Yes, as Faith mentioned, do register early so that we can issue the cost invoice, right? Then you can proceed with the claim. Okay. Yes, we do look forward to see you all in the online training. Okay, so yeah, there will be a replay of this video. So if let's say you want to actually to recall, right, what we have covered this evening, right, so there will be an email sent to you that gives you a link to the replay video, right? And please do connect with me. Let me share my email again. Okay, you're welcome, Gary. Good night. So that's my email, my Facebook page, and also the LinkedIn profile. All right, so Sean is still around. Right, so if you have any questions, you can still contact me via my email, and also I think Faith has also shared her email just now from Trivalab. All right, thank you, Daryl, for your registration. So hope you have a good weekend. Thank you, Yunxin, for joining us. Good night, Yunxin. Okay, good night, Sean. Yes, yeah, looking forward, to see all of you after the COVID ends. All right, good night, everyone. So have a good weekend, a good rest tonight. All right. So really, don't you must really find time to rest. Okay, even though we are all working from home, sometimes that we lack that boundary. Okay, but it's important to rest. All right. You're welcome, Canby. Good night. All right. Good night, Daryl. Good night, Faith. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend and stay safe. All right. Okay. Bye. Bye, Jinyang. Thanks, Faith. Thank you. Bye.